All right, welcome to Week 7 Forum. This week we are dealing with public opinion. So, what is government doing as it relates to to public opinion? The text talks about the contrasting stories of Susanna Hupp and Justin Gruber, and they're very different reactions, diametrically opposed reactions to experiencing gun violence. In 1991, Hupp was eating lunch at a Texas restaurant when a man drove his truck through the front window and began shooting, ultimately killing 23 people. In 2018, 15-year-old Justin Gruber survived the mass shooting at his Florida high school, Marjory Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida, which killed 17 students and teachers. So the former, Hupp, becomes an outspoken opponent of any kind of gun restriction laws and basically believes that if she'd been armed, she could have stopped the killer. While Gruber basically, helped helped form an organization dedicated to, strengthening gun control measures. Uh, what does this tell us about public opinion? There are things that we know about how Americans form opinions and how they tend to diverge to some extent. One thing we know following mass shootings, that public support for stronger gun control measures typically increase, but then so do also gun sales. So what you're again looking at is, you know, a mass of people saying we got to do something, and a mass of people saying, oh, they might do something, we better arm ourselves. So, the question is, do politicians follow public opinion on gun control or any other issue? Or are they basically ignoring public opinion in support of, more powerful interests that represent their political views? So we expect government to be responsive to the preferences of the people. But whose opinions find their way into public policy? How influential is public opinion relative to other political forces like organized interest groups? How well informed are the people at any particular point in time? There are a lot of issues where Americans are not particularly well informed. And by what channels can individuals use to make their opinions better heard? So when we talk about public opinion, we're basically talking about the attitudes that people collectively hold on policy issues, political events, and elected officials. These days, partisanship and political ideology play an important role in terms of what people think. For example, if you ask Republicans what they think about Joe Biden, they will be pretty universally negative. If you ask Democrats what they thought of Donald Trump when he was president, you would find very similar kinds of negative opinions. Um, so public opinion generally references a range of opinion, right? And for example, when you look at public approval ratings of presidents or other public officials, you'll find that a percentage of Americans like what they do, and a percentage of Americans hate what they do. Again, getting back to this problem of polarization that we're experiencing. The media often use public opinion surveys to report political differences between Republicans and Democrats, and between rural and urban residents, between blacks and whites, men and women, young and old, religiously devout and secular Americans. We have to recognize again the fact that public opinion is not this monolith, that it exists. It's amorphous. It tends to change. Some people, having thought about having taken a public opinion survey, may find that they've changed their viewpoint. Again, it depends on how deep their convictions are, and there is clearly a difference between your values and your opinion, right? Your opinion is oftentimes sort of a hot take on things. Your value is something that should be more innate to yourself, more something that is much less easily revisable, something that you hold to as a conviction. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about this week. And we're going to be talking about, sort of how we form our opinions, the role that political socialization plays. Obviously, families play a really important role in the kinds of opinions that people, end up evolving. Parents are an essential force in terms of political socialization, both for, even if, I mean, a significant percentage of Americans love their parents and want to be just like their parents. A significant number of Americans love their parents, but say, I don't want to be like them. And so they make considered decisions in terms of their life choices that's, cause them to go in a different path. And so socialization is again a very complex phenomenon. So there's a lot to talk about this week. Our level of information. Americans are typically characterized as relatively low information people, and that has consequences. I think it makes us a lot more subject to manipulation. Again, these are things, interesting things to talk about over the course of the week. So remember, if there's something that you're having trouble with, something that you don't understand, please ask me in the forum. If there's something that you think is really, really important that needs to be hit on, and emphasized, let me know about that as well. If there's something that you don't think that the chapter addresses adequately, let's talk about it, and let's have a great week of discussion.